Good day, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to look at bank reconciliation. Now, just a reminder, moving forward, there's no more outstanding checks. There's no more payments by checks. Checks has become obsolete. So it means that it's outdated. Banks no longer uses checks. So all transactions moving forward will now be replaced by EFT. So if you're working through old exam papers, just always keep this in mind. There's no longer checks. So this means there will no longer be dishonored checks, stale checks, post-dated checks issued, post-dated checks received. All check payments is now being replaced by EFTs. So now looking at the questions, we are going to start with the first question. Discuss 3 reasons why it is essential to undergo reconciliation. Number 2, use the necessary information to prepare the bank recon. Then give a possible explanation why the EFT payments does not appear on the bank statement, and what should the bookkeeper do with the unmarked item. So looking at the first question, discuss 3 reasons why is it essential. 1, this is for internal control purpose. 2, to ensure that the business bank records and the bank's records are exactly the same. To update the business books and to identify if there's any outstanding EFTs or deposits. Then we have to correct errors. Now remember, we could have made a mistake. So that means we then need to do the corrections in the CRJ or the CPJ, or the bank could have made a mistake. It means it then needs to be corrected on the bank reconciliation statement. Completing the bank reconciliation statement. This is now completing the bank recon using the 2-column method. So I have a debit and a credit. So if I look at information A, on the 31st of July, 2021, the bank statement showed a favorable balance of 3,600. Now a reminder of the following. From the bank's perspective, we are a creditor. So a favorable balance will always appear on the credit side. An unfavorable balance will appear on the debit side. In our books, in our bank account, it's the opposite. A favorable balance appears on the debit side, then it's a current asset. An unfavorable balance appears on the credit side, then it is a current liability. Irrelevant if we have a favorable or an unfavorable balance, receipts will always be debited to our bank account and payments will be credited. On the bank statement, it's the opposite. Deposits will always appear on the credit side and payments will always appear on the debit side. Why is this important? When doing the bank reconciliation statement, it is always from the bank's perspective. So how it will appear on the bank statement is how it would appear in the bank recon. Except for the balance as per bank account. The balance as per bank account is according to our books, our bank account. So if I look at the favorable balance, where would it appear? On the credit side, 3,600. Looking at information B, items on the bank statement for July that did not appear in the cash journals. A deposit of 3,800. It was discovered that the account of Mercury Limited was credited in error. The bank will correct it in August. This means that the bank made a mistake. So yes, it will not appear in our books. Don't update our cash receipts journal and say that we've received money. Why? Because the bank made a mistake. So if the bank had incorrectly credited our account, they will now need to debit our account with 3,800. Looking at information C, items in the cash receipts journal and cash payment journals that do not appear on the bank statement. A reminder, if it appears in our books and it does not appear on the bank statement, we have to show it in the bank reconciliation statement. So the first one is the deposit on the 29th of July, 15,200. So on our bank recon, we're going to credit outstanding deposit 15,200. Remember, we need to credit it because on the bank statement, deposits appear on the credit side. If we look at the EFTs, debit outstanding EFT 2020. Why on the debit side? All payments payments made will show on the bank statement on the debit side. So for both of those, we're going to put it on the debit side in the bank reconciliation statement. Information D, unmarked items in the bank reconciliation statement for June 2021. There's an EFT, but now it says dated the 5th of January 2021. We are currently busy in June and in July, but yet it says on the 5th of January. So this has been outstanding for a long time. This will not appear in the bank recon. We will need to cancel this in the cash receipts journal. The final step, what is left over for us to do, is to calculate the balance as per bank account. If you look at all the information given, don't think that is a mistake on the question paper. They didn't provide you with the balance as per bank account. If they don't provide it to you, it means you will need to calculate it. And that will now be the balancing figure in the bank reconciliation statement. So if we look at the 2-column method, it means that we will need to balance this account. The debit side must be equal to the credit side. So if I add the 2 columns, you would see that the credit side is equal to 18,800. But if I look at the debit side, it does not equal 18,800. The missing figure, the difference, will be now the balance as per bank account, 11,410, and that appears on the debit side. Now, if you look at the same question and you prefer doing the 1-column method, on your answer booklet, you can just scratch out 1 column. And then you're going to complete all the transactions, the same as what you do with a 2-column method. The only difference is now I need to indicate with brackets if it appears on the debit side on a bank statement because we need to subtract it, and no brackets if it appears on the credit side of the bank statement because we're going to add it. So now the balance as per bank account becomes the total right at the end after I've added and subtracted all the amounts. Looking at the last 2 questions, give a possible explanation as to why the EFT payment does not appear on the bank statement. The bank account does not exist. So we've made a payment, but that bank account does not exist. So the money will not be reflected on our bank statement that a payment was made. So what should the bookkeeper do with this unmarked item? It needs to be cancelled in the cash receipts journal. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed the short video on bank reconciliation. It's going to be hard, but hard does not mean it is impossible. I want to leave you with that quote. The next activity, we're going to look at different ways in how to ask bank recon, just for different formats. We're then going to focus on internal control type of questions. I hope you have a wonderful day. Goodbye.